Rise and shine, beautiful souls. Welcome to Rising in Royalty with Kevin Rise
and Lacey Rise.
Listen, guys, today you want to watch these videos from front to end. I got 3 powerful videos that truly display the toxic relationships or behaviors that some of these single mothers have with their children, okay? But today, particularly their sons. Before I hit this disclaimer, I know this video is going to hit a lot of you guys in the wrong places. Many of you guys are going to be offended. A lot of you single mothers are definitely trying to raise your sons the right way. I believe all of you are. I don't believe anyone wants to raise their son to be broken, okay? Now, all of you sons who grew up with a single mother, this is not to offend you either, okay? The goal is to create healthy men which would fix the broken homes and repair the families, okay? So we can have fathers again. So we're going to focus on all the corrections that need to be made to create a healthy man going forward. This is not to antagonize you mothers or make you guys feel insecure about how you raise your sons, but to give you some enlightenment on how to correct the issues, okay? And why a father in his life is definitely important, okay? Let's go.
Hey, y'all, to the boy moms, I'm gonna need y'all to come to the front of the line real quick. All the boy moms, yeah, bring y'all ass here. I just need to know if y'all ever been through this before. So my son just turned 16 yesterday. Shout out to him, big 16. And, recently I had went through a situation where his phone was like ringing. And I decided I'm gonna go ahead and answer it, right? Why the fuck did I decide I was gonna answer his phone? Why do that? So in the midst of me, hello, she like, who is this? Who is this? You answer Keon's phone and I want to know who you are. Now she thought I was one of his little girlfriends, right? She told me something, because yeah, you're answering Keon's phone and I want to know who you are. I said, well, who are you? I ain't even want to drop it on her just yet, like as to who I was, right? Because I'm the HBIC in this motherfucker, shorty, and you just a little tag along at this point. But in any event, I digress. Who are you? No, I think you should tell me who you are because I'm his girlfriend. I said, oh, you one of them. That is so funny. Well, I'm his mother. I'm his mother. Yeah. It's me. Yeah. And quite frankly, I'm going to be the only other girl that's going to be answering his phone. And not for nothing, you on your way out, baby. I just want you to know that. Yeah. See, you too busy worrying about what else Keon got going on. And you ain't worried about my baby. Yeah, you're done. I just want you to know that. But it's okay, baby. Have your fun. You just called yourself trying to check his mom about answering his phone and you ain't even know it because you're so stupid. But it's okay, girl. I'm going to tell my baby you called, okay? And I'm going to be sure to tell him that you tried to check me about answering his phone, even though you ain't know who I was. But you should have played it safe. And you probably wouldn't have to worry about losing my baby. But good luck next time.
Okay. Ooh. Now, we're going to run it back because we're going to show you all the red flags, okay? There's quite a few. Okay, I took the liberty of writing some down, okay? Smothering. Okay, I'm going to explain what that is when it happens. Smothering him. That's number 1. Not encouraging him or supporting him in his quest to become an independent man. Trying to run his life. Establishing a codependent relationship. And sabotaging his relationships with women. I'm going to break down what all of these things do. And I don't know if the mother's intentionally trying to do this, but this is what's going to happen. This is what's happening. You guys can clearly see the red flags, right? But you see how she is clearly unaware of how toxic her relationship with her child is. Let's play this back so we can get some insight, okay? Let's go.
Hey, y'all, to the boy moms, I'm gonna need y'all to come to the front of the line real quick. All the boy moms, yeah, bring y'all ass here. I just need to know if y'all ever been through this before. So my son just turned 16 yesterday. Shout out to him, big 16. And
fantastic, just turned 16. If you guys ever heard of a bar mitzvah, this is what a male goes through. It's a celebration of a male's adulthood. It is where he is told that he is a man, and he is told to now carry himself as a man and no longer as a boy. What it does for that child is it creates for him the moment he became a man. It's easier now for him to challenge himself in the ways of becoming a man and not revert back to the boyish type of behaviors and things that he used to do in the past. This is encouraging your child's independence. Whether or not you're ready to be a man, you're 16. It's time that you start acting like a man and performing like a man. Now this child comes away from doing boyish things and starts in doing mannish things, starts hanging out with older men, right? Getting more of guidance on what it takes to be a man. He can no longer act like a boy. You're no longer crying to get the things that you need. You're no longer crying to get your emotional needs met. You're no longer complaining whenever you're not happy with life. Now you're taught to start manifesting when you're not happy with how your life looks. You got to do something about it. It's time to be a man, right? So as a mother, you should encourage his independence. Know that your son is going to leave your house one day. And if you break him before he leaves, he'll already be broken before he faces the challenges in the world. He will not know how to respond to these challenges. And it will be because you loved him out of his independence. Loving your child does not mean to spoil him. Okay? It means to allow your child to face his own challenges and obstacles. Allow him to grow up. He's 16. You gave him a phone. You should have also allowed him to have his privacy with that phone. Okay? She says here, I'm in a situation, right? She's about to say, I'm in a situation where the phone's ringing. You're not in a situation where the phone's ringing. You're not. You're using the fact that this is your child to answer this phone and play. You shouldn't do that. Allow your child to have his freedom. You don't want your child hiding his phone from you as a mother. Like, mama, I know how mama is. Let me just take my phone in the bathroom with me because I know how mama is. That's really the relationship you want with. That's childish. Completely. That's what he's gonna. That's the relationship he'll have with a toxic woman. So by doing that, you're training him to have patience for toxicity. That's crazy because he's gonna say this is exactly how women act. That's how my mama act, and so he won't even know that it's a problem. That's sad, family. Okay.
And recently I had went through a situation where his phone was like ringing, and I decided I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. Right? Why the fuck did I decide I was going to answer his phone? Why do that?
Right, Lacey. She said I went through a situation where his phone just ringing. So I decided to answer, and then she goes, "Why did I do that?" Right. Why did you do that? Right? Why not just let the phone ring and let the son call back? Right?
Absolutely. And that would have been the role of a mother, to let the phone ring and call for her son. Keon, your phone is ringing. Or when you cross paths with him, you have a missed call on your phone. And at the very least, if you are the type of mother to initiate answering your son's phone, you're going to answer it like, this is Keon's mother. Who is this? To who am I speaking? Oh, well, he's unavailable at this time. Can I ask that you call him back? I'll certainly relay the message that you called. Hang up the phone. But to actually see the fact that his phone is repeatedly ringing as something that's antagonizing her as his mother already exhibits her possessiveness as it relates to her son. That she needs to be made privy to his conversations that are going on his phone. This is the action of a girlfriend and or wife, the way women may get possessive over their partner. And in no way should she should be behaving that way in connection with her son.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because if his phone is ringing that often, let's just say ring, and maybe she's saying that it rang, it hang up, and then it started ringing again. So the person's recalling back, which would present that it's an emergency, right?
Absolutely.
At that moment, where's your son? Wherever he is, if he's in the bathroom, you could just go, son, your phone keep ringing, somebody keep calling you. It says whatever the name is. I can guarantee you it wasn't just a random number that showed up.
Absolutely.
Her name had showed up, so she already knew it was a girl.
Absolutely.
And she answered by saying hello. Like Lacey said, she could have just said, this is Keon's mother. How can I help you? Right? Or this is Keon's mother. Keon's not by his phone. I'll have him call you back. Whatever the case, in case it's an emergency. That way she's looking out for her son. But in this aspect, she's just like answers the phone and goes, hello. And as soon as it goes, who is this? She could have said your mother, but she doesn't even take that opportunity to say it's her mother, that she's his mother. So the little girl now has no clue who's on the other end of the phone. She doesn't know the relationship between her and her son, how serious it is. Yeah, I know they're 16, but you don't know what they're negotiating.
Absolutely.
They could be boyfriend and girlfriend, and they could both want exclusivity, because you always want that. When you always want that. You don't never want to be lied to. Even as kids, you start off dating with exclusivity. So of course you wouldn't want him to have any other little girlfriends. And so now this other woman's answering the phone. She's answering the phone, and that little girl doesn't know. This is crazy, yo. That's a red flag already. Okay, so not encouraging them and supporting them in their rites of passage to be independent, and then now you're smothering him. Answering his phone, number one, was a red flag of smothering him. and then now she's going to pretend to have this phone call with this little girl and not represent who she truly is. This is smothering him. And I want you ladies to know, I know you love your sons and you want to protect him, but let me just explain to you what smothering him does. It somewhat prevents the boy from growing up to become healthy. A healthy, emotionally stable, functional man. When a woman smothers her son, it's the equivalent of putting a boot on the boy's neck and never letting him up. Now imagine that, family. It paralyzes him and prevents him from moving forward in life. Many single mothers often kill their boys by choking the very life out of him with their consistent or constant nagging and hovering over them. In this case, it's hovering over him, okay? When a mother holds a child too close to them, it prevents him from going out into the world and experiencing life. When they try and dictate the terms of the boy's manhood, all it leads to is him growing up independent of his mother and never dependent upon, or actually he grows up, dependent upon his mother or dependent on other women, okay?
Absolutely.
Because of that relationship. So smothering him cripples him, all right?
So in the midst of me, hello, she like, who is this? Who is this? You answer Keon's phone and I want to know who you are.
That by itself to me was her spewing so much toxicity, because as a woman, if you don't have any connection with any other experience in this life, you have an experience with being a woman. You have been lied to by a man. You've been deceived. And if you haven't had that personal experience, you know women that have. So for you to be a mother of a son and create a situation where a young girl would think that your son had been deceitful towards her and find it humorous speaks to your personal resentment and bitterness as it relates to your relationship with the opposite gender. And you're literally funneling that through the life of your son and using it as an excuse to interrupt his relationships. That to me has so many red flags in it coming from all angles, and it's so self-destructive because a mother is used to, in a sense, having control during the upbringing of her child. But what most women don't prepare for is when their child starts to grow their independence. They start to free think and share opinions that are not in connection with their parents. So you can tell she's very comfortable with exhibiting this behavior because for her, her son won't say a word. But he's also becoming a young man. He's becoming a man. So this actually might push him over the edge and break down her relationship with her son. But because she's used to the past, she's going to keep exhibiting this behavior, not realizing she might be walking herself out of a relationship with her son.
Absolutely. And you see how she's laughing just as if she has a point, and she doesn't realize she's self-revealing all the toxicity that she puts in her son's life via this phone call. And she shouldn't be laughing. She doesn't realize though she's exposing herself, but it's sad that she thinks this is funny. It's not funny. When she asked who it was, she could have told her, "I'm his mother," but
Absolutely.
she didn't. She instead asked who she was. She thinks this is funny. This is not funny.
Absolutely.
Nah, she thought I was one of his little girlfriends, right?
I wonder why. See, she could have thought that she was her mother by her simply saying, "I'm his mother."
Absolutely.
And who are you calling? Mm-hmm. Can I tell him that you called? Could I have him to call you back? Mm-hmm. You see? No, she couldn't. Now, this was her opportunity to present herself as a respectable person to this girl that's in her son's life. Mm-hmm. That would have been beautiful. But no, you're going to do something totally different, right? Unreal, man.
Because you're answering Keon's phone and I want to know who you are. I said, well, who are you? I ain't even want to drop it on her just yet, like as to who I was, right? Because I'm the HBIC in this motherfucker, shorty, and you just a little tag along at
right there. See, number one, I'm the HBIC in this MF for shorty, right? And you just a little tag along. This is toxic. You are the child's mother, but you're not an HBIC. And I'm gonna explain to you the difference, okay? Mothering your child means raising him, nurturing him, being there to support your son, right? But when you say I'm the HBIC, what you're saying is you are some type of like figure that needs respect over anybody over anybody. So I've seen this, but like you bring a girl into the home and the mother's like, she didn't speak to me. I mean, she didn't speak to me.
Absolutely.
You know, you walk in their house, you can't walk by them at all. Like if you don't speak to my mama, right, and she'll do this, right? He can bring male friends to the house and let her walk into the room, and the kids just be playing the video game, doing whatever. She'll stop and say, "Y'all didn't speak to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Miss Such and Such." She literally does this. Like, always wants everybody to acknowledge her. I'm the mama. Like she is the matriarch. There's nothing you have to lobby for. You understand? You're special already. Believe me, your son loves you. You don't have to try and force it. You sort of force everybody around them to know that you're the mama, and so somehow you deserve some type of added entitled respect. Like that's crazy. I'm the HBIC. You can already tell that's happening. You know, so this is scary because you already hear about like men fearing their mother-in-laws because they fear that the mother-in-law will be starting stuff with them or not, you know, welcome them in, whatever the case may be. Men have a hard time with their mother-in-laws. Well, this is the mother-in-law on the daughter's part, and you can see how they have a tough time. They often feel in competition with the son's mother. Why would you be in competition with the son's mother?
Absolutely.
That's because the third and fourth red flags. The first one is she has already formed a codependent relationship with her son. That's why she feels in competition. You see what I'm saying? So now it's like you're treating the son like he's your significant other, and she's acting like that, answering his phone, doing like I just said earlier. Now he'll have to hide his phone from his mother because of how she's acting. And I want you guys to know, you feel like it's increasing your bond with your son, but it really actually makes him dependent upon you. Okay, for guidance, for advice. For anything in life, you crippled him. Allow him to make his own decisions, family.
Absolutely.
He's going to fail. But what you do is you just encourage him. One day your child won't even make the moves you want him to make. At that point, you'll want to control him. You'll say, look, I don't care if you get big as a house. I didn't raise you to go down that road, but you're doing it. No, you're not going to do that. No, you got to let him. He got to learn the hard way now.
Absolutely.
You've already taught him. Now it's time for you to fall back and allow him to fulfill what you taught. You see what I'm saying? Because nobody's not going to make any mistakes. If you're trying to raise a perfect child, you will cripple him. I'm telling you now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have here one of the most destructive things a single mother can do to their sons is try and turn them into a surrogate husband. Okay, now you're not doing this intentionally, but by the way you treat him, you're doing that subconsciously. What they don't understand is that what they're doing is establishing a codependent relationship with them. In this codependent relationship, single mothers attach an emotional hose up their sons. And as they use their sons to get their emotional and other needs met, it literally sucks the life out of these boys, preventing them from growing up to become healthy, functional men who can have a relationship with women his own age. So let's stop doing this, okay? Fall back and allow your sons to go out and be the men that you raised them to be, okay? Lacey, anything before I hit play?
I hate to use this label, but we use them a lot. Women and the term mama's boy. When you end up in a upbringing such as this as a man and you are conditioned to not move without, in a sense, your mother's say, you end up being a grown man that doesn't even feel the freedom and confidence to choose his own wife without the sign off of his mother. And unfortunately, this relationship can be very toxic because the mother actually enjoys that power of deciding her son's fate, even as a grown man. So much so that she will make his life complete hell if he finds himself with someone that he likes somewhat more than and invests more energy into than what he's investing in with his mother. She would work hard to destroy that, putting doubts in his mind about her, maybe creating situations where she can have a misstep so she can get in his ear and say, see, that's the type of woman you shouldn't be with. And it takes away, as Kevin was saying, his confidence. And it does heavily weigh on his ability to make a decision for a mate going forward because he's so used to being crippled and enabled that once he becomes a grown man, he can't move without being connected to her.
Absolutely.
This point, but in any event, I digress. Who are you? No, I think you should tell me who you are because I'm his girlfriend. oh, you one of them. That is so funny. Well, I'm his mother.
Now, what she did is she introduced doubt into the relationship by saying,
Absolutely.
oh, you one of them. Well, that little girl could have felt special. Now she feels like completely not special, and she's heard it from his matriarch. Why wouldn't she believe his mother? Why would his mother lie on him?
Absolutely.
You see? And it's so crazy because she said, I'm his girlfriend. She had the moment to say, oh, you're his girlfriend. Well, it's nice to meet you. I am his
Absolutely.
mother.
And
What's
my
your name?
Yeah, and my
Right,
name
right.
is. Absolutely.
And then she could have said, oh, well, he's in the shower right now. I'll have him call you back. Nice to meet you, sweetheart.
Absolutely.
Right, and just leave it at that. But instead, she introduces doubt into the relationship. This is literally wild, y'all. This is trying to run his life, trying to do anything to have some type of control. And I have here, single mothers often try to control every move their son makes. What this does to your son is it emasculates him. Your son should be controlling the moves that he makes. Your son should be making a decision in his own life. Whenever you do that, you emasculate him because you take away his ability to make his choice for himself. So you cripple him. What you should allow your son to do is make those mistakes early in life. Allow him to make those mistakes. Encourage him to not make mistakes, but encourage him to make his own decisions. You be there to nurture him if he falls. You be there to support him, motivate him if he falls. But don't be caught up in the trauma, of what you've been through in your past, or your fears of what your son may end up being. A lot of times mothers will fear that the son ends up being the father because they'll have some type of emotions tied to the father, negative emotions tied to the father. So they'll try to run his life in hopes to protect their son. But trying to run his life weakens him because you don't give him an opportunity to fail. Okay, please understand this. Okay, it's like I can go on, Lacey.
The purpose of parenting, one of the most important roles, is to establish yourself as far as being able to break those generational curses, not continue them. And in this situation, she is a woman first. Yes, she is Keon's mother, but she is a woman first. The fact that you would not only play on your son's phone, but create a traumatic experience for his perceived girlfriend, knowing what that can cause for her, that can create toxic behavior in her, because now she doesn't trust your son. And she's likely to not trust him because the words came from his mother. And as a woman, you know what that does emotionally, psychologically. So why that's okay, I don't understand. And in addition to that, you would tarnish the reputation of your son just to get this momentary high of ownership of your son. You're not even focused on the goal at hand. You're traumatizing the girlfriend. You're destroying the reputation of your son. And then you're also losing respect as far as your own representation, because now you're not just Keon's mom. You're displaying petty behavior. You're being toxic. You know now that your boyfriend's mother is drama associated, and you don't even now want to be civilized with her. You're kind of rolling your eyes. Oh my goodness, she picked up the phone. You're dreading it. Even if they make it through this traumatic experience, she will always hold her breath when she calls her boyfriend now, because she doesn't want his mother to pick up the phone. You call me instead of me calling you, because I don't want to talk to your mother. She doesn't have boundaries. I know now that anyone besides the owner can answer your phone. That's a very intrusive experience, and she's doing all of that just to keep her son to herself.
And remember I mentioned earlier that smothering was one of the red flags? Well, that's one of the problems that smothering causes, is that the son now does not know boundaries. He doesn't know his own boundaries, and he doesn't respect other people's, because he's had a mother who literally walked in his room without knocking, answered his phone, and he can't say nothing to her because she's always going to say, boy, I'm your mama. You see what I'm saying? I know you ain't let them talk to your mama like that. I know you didn't answer the phone I know you better answer the phone when your mama calling you.
Absolutely.
And his whole life he'll be like, oh, that's mama, I gotta answer that. Like,
Absolutely.
he'll always, mama can be called back too.
Absolutely.
She can be called back too. You understand? But that's how they'll put that out there. It's your mama. And your mama is very important. But this is psychological. Okay, this is some other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's crazy, y'all.
I'm his mother. Yeah. It's me. Yeah. And quite frankly, I'm going to be the only other girl that's going to be answering his phone.
Again, trying to run that man's life. I'm going to be the only other girl. Unreal. Now, again, let's just say that the boy did have multiple girlfriends. This is not something the mother would say to the girl. Now, she may talk about this with her son. Son, are you being honest with these little girls? Do they know that you're dating other girls? Do they know you have other little girlfriends? And he may say, well, Mom, I'm not dating any of them. I'm getting to know them. Okay. But of course, in this situation, she said she was a girlfriend. So you leave that where it is and you go talk to your son about that.
Absolutely.
You don't tell that little girl that. You know why? You know people are crazy when they're in relationships. You don't know what's going to happen to that boy when he go to school tomorrow dealing with that little girl.
Absolutely.
She could be toxic as crap too.
Completely.
And here you have now given her the weapon, giving her ammunition to use against him. And now he's going to have to try to explain away him not doing something wrong to that girl. And her mother is the one who gave her that information. So if he's not doing what you're claiming that he's doing, he ain't going to be able to convince that girl that he's not, because she heard the crap from his mother, not some little girl in school.
Exactly.
His mother said this. Now, you know you're being toxic. Just imagine this playing out. Imagine a little girl cries at hearing this and runs and tells her mother, you know the boy I've been talking to you about, Mama, the boy I really like? I just called him and his mama answered the phone and told me I was one of the many, boo-hooing. That mother would say, that is a toxic woman.
Absolutely.
And you need to leave that little boy alone just because I don't want you in her life. I don't want her being anywhere near y'all.
Absolutely.
Her mama told you that? His mama told you that? That's top. That is, in no way is that cool. In no way is that cool. Now, if Keon called the little girl and the mama answered the phone and told Keon he was one of the many, Keon would be hurt. He wouldn't want to date that girl no more, and he would not believe that girl over. He would not believe that girl over her mother. You see what I'm saying? And I bet she would know that was toxic then. Like, come on, y'all, that's not cool
At all. And notice that she said, I'm going to be the only girl answering his phone. Now, we like to argue about, people's word choice, but it really does identify a lot about the person. Now, her saying, not the only girl, speaks to her psychology and what's going on in her mind, her lack of maturity, because she literally equates herself to that of a 16-year-old. To even say, girl, you are a grown woman. You are the mother of a 16-year-old boy. There's no reason why you would need to say, I'm going to be the only girl answering his phone. Even if you had that right, I'm his mother. I pay the phone bill. I am not one of his girls. And a mother that was actually in the position of mothering her son, not, for a lack of better words, creating that dynamic where he could be perceived as a husband, would never talk like that. She would never say, I am a girl. She would say, I am his mother. You are a girl. You see what I'm saying?
She also would never say only.
Exactly.
But this is indicative of it. She's never gotten that exclusive relationship that she likes, so she can feel special herself.
Absolutely.
So she says, I'm going to be the only. So this comes from, you had a man in your life whom you can't control, okay? And so you couldn't be his only. So you're thinking to yourself the whole time you're raising your son, I'm going to be the only, at least with him. And so now a girl coming into his life threatens you being the only.
Absolutely.
It's very, very scary, because if you think about this, it's toxic to compete with the other parent in a relationship. When the daddy buys something, the mother has to say something to ruin the daddy to make herself still seem like the greatest parent. It don't matter that he bought you that. I'm in your life every day in competition with the father. Well, if it's toxic to be in competition with your co-parent, you know it's toxic to be in a competition with people who come into their life later, because that relationship with the significant other won't be nothing like the relationship with his mother. So you're not losing a son. She's not getting a son. You're not losing a son. She's getting a boyfriend.
Absolutely.
So he should never have to compete. She should never have to compete with his mother.
At all.
Because the relationship is not the same at all.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's like a daughter goes out with a boy, okay? Say the boy's into athletics, okay? Now the father is competing with the little boy she's going out with. Oh, he can, Daddy, he plays basketball. Oh, I can play basketball. Look how good I can play basketball.
Absolutely.
Why are you doing this? Dude, you're her father. You're always going to be her father. You understand? You don't have to compete to try to maintain a relationship. You're never losing in the first place. Completely unreal. That girl could never be his mother, but she's trying to lobby for what? Ain't nobody threatening. Ain't nobody can threaten your relationship with your son, man.
Marking territory.
What you doing? Yeah.
And not for nothing, you on your way out, baby. I just want you to know that. Yeah, see, you too busy worrying about what else Keon got going on, and you ain't worried about my baby. Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they both the same? You're not worried about what Keon got. You too busy worried about what Keon got going on, and you not worried about my baby, your baby. Why'd you call him a baby? Mm-hmm. You see this, right? Mm-hmm. This is crazy. She's worried about what Keon got going on, but you're on there worried about your baby. Mm-hmm. So she is worried about what Keon got going on, but the problem is you on here worried about your baby, and you're projecting all of this onto her. She asked you who you were, which shows she's worried about what the heck is going on, what's happening right now.
Absolutely.
And now you said instead of worrying about him, you should have been worried about my baby. Ain't that the same thing?
Same person.
No, you shouldn't be worried about your baby. Mm-hmm. Leave that alone. It's you're the problem, lady. Like
Absolutely.
Truly. I'm gonna say this last one, okay? Sabotaging his relationships with women. Mm-hmm. That's the last red flag right there. She is literally sabotaging his relationship with women. And this could be by telling him what women are like and messing his mind up. All women are whores. Mm-hmm. All women are loose. Mm-hmm. These girls don't really want to be with you. They just want to use you up. This is poisoning the well. Before he even got out here and meet girls, you already gave him an idea of what women are like. Yo, he should be able to model women after you. He should be able to look at you as a mother and say, oh, I want a woman that models simply like my mother. She motivates me. She encourages me. She doesn't talk down to me. She compliments me. Things like that the mother would have no issues with doing because she doesn't lose anything in complimenting her son. So if you're able to build your son should look for those same attributes in his first woman or his woman. Absolutely. You understand? You shouldn't have to be out here trying to control his relationships. Single mothers hate their sons having girlfriends because they fear that as he gets closer to this woman, he'll start establishing healthier boundaries that will sever the emotional hose that they have hooked to their sons. And if he severs that hose, she'll have to do something like getting her own life. You see what I'm saying? Because she's placed her identity into being his mother. And so the moment he starts creating boundaries, like, Mama, I'm gonna need you to stop answering my phone. Like, Mama, can you knock before coming in? Like, Mama, get out. I'm naked. Boy, I changed your diaper. This is her like overstepping his boundaries and making him feel insecure, like he don't have a right to ask for boundaries. Like, you can't just walk in the room. Boy, I used to change you. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? What? I'm grown now. Now I care about people seeing me. Absolutely. The moment your children say, I don't want you looking, stop looking. Absolutely. The moment your children say, I'm uncomfortable, respect their boundaries, yo. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
Unreal, yo. We got to stop that.
And sabotaging these relationships is not always for the negative. Like, the experience is not always negative. Sometimes the mother can create this same outcome by doting on her son and saying things like, you know, you will never find someone to love you as much as your mother loved you. You will never find someone to cook for you as like your mother cooks for you. And I know you love your mother's recipes. You'll never find another woman that cooks your favorite dish the way I cook your favorite dish. And so now you're creating this narrative in his mind where he's trying to find someone to meet the standard of his mother. And all of these same symptoms can come by way of positive reinforcement as well, and you wouldn't even know you're having that experience, and you would have a phenomenal bond with your mother and not realize she's in that position in your life as well.
Right. Encourage him to grow, family. Like, you're gonna sit here and establish a codependent relationship with your mom, with your sons. That weakens him. When your child is thinking about going to the NFL, he should be thinking about working out and getting stronger and faster, not buying his mama a car or a house. When y'all start doing that, you immediately have your son always thinking about you when it comes to manifesting life. I want to give my mama a better life. I watch my mama go to work. Well, people have to work, yo.
Absolutely.
They have to work, and now your son feels sorry that you had to do something that's completely normal. You see, my mama had to work. I'm gonna make sure I buy her a house, and that's great if he wants to do that. But if that's due to you putting that in his head that woe is mama that has to work 2 jobs, even if you got to work 3, you don't make your child feel like that they are a burden. Absolutely. That it takes all of that just to raise them. You be glad about whatever it takes to raise them. Absolutely. This is how men are raised. We're not raised to go home and complain about having to go to work. We do it with pride and we do it in love. But a single mother, a lot of times she sees the burden of not having that man in the home, and she always thinks about it. I could have some help in this house. I wouldn't have to do all this myself. And she and what that does to her is makes her say, I do all this by myself. You know, I work 2 jobs just so you can. No, you work 2 jobs because you had a child And you need to work 2 jobs to keep a roof over y'all head.
Absolutely.
If you could take care of him without doing the 2 jobs, you would do that. So don't say you do that because you love him. You love him. You got to take care of y'all, though. That is exempt love, y'all. Come on now, let's be real.
True.
But that's what we'll do, and that's crippling your child, yo. Don't do that. Let me try to continue this video because we got another one, okay?
Yeah, you're done. I just want you to know that. But it's okay, baby. Have your fun. You just called yourself trying to check his mom about answering his phone and you ain't even know it because you're so stupid. But it's okay, girl.
You're lying, and I wanted to say, no, you stupid, but I ain't gonna do that. She was not trying to check his mom.
Created such a false
She didn't even know it was his mom.
at all.
The moment she found out, she already saying, you're gonna be moved around because you was acting, you didn't pass whatever test I was putting you up against.
Right.
She wasn't trying to come at her mom. You're just gonna lie on the girl now?
Absolutely.
So,
And
again,
sabotage
remember
the
how I said that?
relationship, like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
That's
sabotage
exactly what she's
relationships.
gonna tell her son. He tried to check me, and you gonna let her talk to your mama like that? So he's gonna be forced into a corner because it's gonna be, do you want to talk to your girlfriend or do you want to defend your mother? Because this is the person you live with. This is the person that you're gonna experience repercussions from should you not defend her.
Man, every time that girl call, every time you see the phone and answer, the mama probably see the phone and go, that's that. Man, because she's talking to that girl, like, gonna control that relationship from here on out. Because now if you don't stop talking to her, she gonna be mad because the girl, she gonna think the girl thinks she got some power. Oh, I told you he ain't gonna talk to you, and he's still talking to you. Oh, I gotta do something else to sabotage the relationship.
Absolutely.
This is just gonna be invested where she don't even need to be invested. It's crazy.
It really is.
I'm going to tell my baby you called, okay? And I'm going to be sure to tell him that you tried to check me about answering his phone, even though you ain't know who I was. But you should have played it safe. And you probably wouldn't have to worry about losing my baby. But good luck next time.
And she should have taken her own advice and played it safe instead of being so antagonistic and poisonous to the whole situation. If she would have responded appropriately, it wouldn't have become toxic.
So that's a 16-year-old, okay? The next video I'm going to show you is, let's just imagine that boy became an adult. So this is a father, a man who is in a relationship with a woman, and her child is grown. Her son is grown. And this is a conversation between that they're having about the son moving out, okay?
Oh,
So
okay.
Lacey hasn't saw this, guys, but I want her to see this, and we're going to, this is the second video. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm telling him, he coming in right now.
I let him know what's
And then
up.
when, cause he ain't going nowhere. That's my son. That's my only son.
At some point, he got to go.
Never no time.
I mean, at some point, he
Never
got to
no
go.
time.
Man.
Never no time.
Well, tell him, Christian.
No, you tell him.
Well-
He talking about you grown and you gotta go somewhere. I told him, you my only son. You ain't going no damn where. You go when you get ready.
Man, I just feel at some point you need to make your own way. That's what I be wanting to walk through the house naked sometime, and there you go. So I mean, what?
No, if anything, you can go, not him. How about that?
I want to
How
pay all
about
the
that?
fucking bills in here. How the f you gonna tell me where I can go?
But the thing is, like, why do I gotta, this is my mama's house, like, why do I gotta leave my mama's house?
Period.
Man, you damn near 40 years old. Damn near it's time to go. I mean, at what point?
I'm 29, I'm not damn near 40.
Well, that's pretty 10
But
years
you know
away.
what? When I met you, you was living with your mama.
Man, please.
You
I
was
was
living
in
with
and
your-
out. Come
you
on,
was
man.
living with your mama.
I
Now
was
you
only
gonna tell
22
me-
years old.
Now you
at
gonna
that
tell
time.
me
Get out
because
of here.
he
No, I ain't
29.
gonna lie, but I ain't getting out. I'm not getting out.
Man,
I'm
he
not going
got to
nowhere.
go.
I'm not going nowhere.
He
This is
has
my
to
mama's
go.
house.
Well,
Like,
And you ain't gotta go
You know
nowhere.
what? Damn it, I ain't gonna pay no bills either. Then, damn it. Now, how you feel about that? You don't want him to go? I won't pay the bills.
No,
but
you gonna continue to pay
he
the
got
bills.
to go though, man. It's too
Thing
much.
is-
See, we arguing and stuff about stuff.
because,
you know
but at
what
the
I'm
end of the
saying?
day, all y'all do is tell me to help. Y'all ain't saying nothing. It's like,
Man, you a
so
grown
y'all ain't
ass
saying
man. You supposed to know the garbage overfill. You supposed to know to take that outside. Come on, man. I don't have to tell you all this stuff, man.
But
You
the thing
know-
is, I'm barely here, so I'm barely making garbage. So why I gotta take the garbage out if I'm barely here? If I'm barely here, barely making garbage, barely making dishes, like why I gotta do anything?
Well, she gonna
Right.
always make excuses for you, man. But
Right, he don't even be here. So what is you talking about? He don't be here like that. He come here,
well,
he
when
sleep,
he's
and
here,
then he on
he needs to
business the
help
rest
out.
of the day.
When he's here, he needs to help out. He needs to do some things. He
Well,
needs
I
to be
tell you what,
productive.
he ain't paying no bills
damn it,
and
he
he
gonna
ain't gotta
start
go.
paying some bills around
But
this
I ain't
game.
paying.
But
I gotta pay.
I'd rather for him to
My
get the
mama,
fuck out.
but listen, my mama said I gotta pay no bills. I ain't paying no bills.
He gotta pay. What I want him to do is save his money and do what he needs to do with his money
You the whole reason
and
why
not
he is
pay
the way
no
he is,
bills.
because all this soft shit you bring it to him. He still got the titty in the mouth. You let all that stuff go on.
No, you know what I know? You know, you jealous. You jealous of my son.
You would say
you jealous of my son.
Only you would say some bull crap.
I don't know if you jealous or not, but I just know I ain't getting on my mama's house. Like, if I gotta get my mama's house, you gotta put me on my mama's house at the end of the day.
Well, damn it, I'm gonna be carrying you out. You got to go.
Oh, you don't mean you want to carry them out then if
that's
that's
the case. Ain't got no problem with carrying them out. I shoot them on out. And
Michael, now you know good and damn well I'm not kicking my son out.
What point you respect?
At the end of the day, I ain't worried about it. Like, at the end of the day, I'm here. I live here, so till I'm ready to get out, I'm gonna be here. So, it don't
at what point is you trying to? What's your plans for this man? What's
my plan is to stay in here as long as I need to stay in here. That's my plan.
And what if he 45, 50?
And he gonna be 45, 50 up in here.
Crazy as hell. Well, damn it, I'm gonna be out there.
Bye.
No, he's going
Get
before
the step
me.
in. Get the step in. Because this is my only son. He ain't going nowhere.
That's what's
my only son. Shit.
You the one made him like this because your weak ass.
You know what?
Made him.
Come and go. Your son is forever.
Man, I see what I'm saying.
You better go.
I see what I'm saying. That's
right. And like I said,
you made him this way. You made him this way.
I ain't making this way.
This is a product of your.
I ain't making this way.
This
like
is a
I
product
said,
of
it ain't
your
like
bad
he don't.
decision. Your bad choice.
It ain't like he don't know how to get out here. Like I said, when he ready to go, he
Okay,
can
so
go.
look, I'm gonna first off read some of the red flags. Then we're gonna play it back again. Okay. So one of the red flags, of course, with this one was, of course, not encouraging him and supporting him in their quest to become independent. That is on the mother's side. Okay. Not encouraging the boys to embrace their own masculinity. It's very important to do that. And I want to tell you where these things show up, okay? And of course, I want to say that single mothers often do this to their son, do their sons a disservice by not encouraging them to be masculine. Instead, they shame their boys about expressing their masculinity, and in some cases, punish them for it, okay? Or they say something like, well, he can be here till he's 50. Yeah, you may love him enough to where he can be there till he's 50, but you want to challenge your son to grow. And I don't mean saying you getting out of here when you get 18 either, but it does mean encouraging him to be independent, to take those chances in life. You understand? I'm a parent who definitely not going to be kicking my kids out just because they turn another age, just because they reach what we call adulthood. But that's because they're going to be saving money to buy their homes cash. I don't believe in kicking my kids out either. So I do understand where she's coming from, saying ain't no man about to come in here and tell my son to leave. I get that part. But your son is still there because you did not raise him to be independent. Absolutely. And that's what the other man is saying. Okay, Absolutely. So another thing was not encouraging them in their quest to become independent men. I said that. Another one was bringing in substitutions for their father. As you can see, that man is not going to get the respect of his father. The man said, if you want me to get out, you're going to have to make me get out. You're going to have to put me out, right? And then as he's still talking with the mother, the son is now interrupting in their conversation, okay? Not to say he shouldn't. I definitely can understand why he feels a way too. Like y'all talking about putting me out and I'm just right here in the fridge. You probably could have told me I needed to contribute, but who should have had to tell you that? You know what I'm saying? You should contribute because you're grown. Number one, you're old enough to contribute. Number two, you have a place to stay. So it doesn't matter how many dishes he eat. You would wash dishes or take out the garbage because you're appreciative to have a place to stay.
Absolutely.
This is why. If you was to stay at a hotel tonight, it's going to cost you a couple $100. So you can't wash the dishes and take out the trash while you're there and make their life a little easier. If you let me use your car, I'm going to fill the tank up. I'm not going to say, well, I only went from here to there. Why I got to do all of that? And I'm not going to say, why didn't you just tell me to do that? No, I'm going to know in my mind, I'm going to hook you up because I don't want you to dread letting me use your car. Absolutely. I want you to say, man, hey, I want Kevin to use my car because it benefits me because he fills the tank up. I don't want you to dread me using it because you know I'm just going to bring it back where I left it. And so it's no benefit to you at all. This is what men do. For you helping me out, I appreciate that. You let me stay here. This is what I'm going to do in return. So I kind of get a little bit about where everybody's coming from. You understand? But I want you guys to see how, just to see this, that boy wouldn't be who that boy is today if he had been pushed and encouraged like you're supposed to push and encourage a man, a boy, to become a man.
And that's that codependency as well.
Absolutely, he
because
still
he's
lives there.
even repeating everything his mother says. If she says I don't have to pay rent, then I don't have to pay rent.
Absolutely.
If she says I don't have to take the garbage out, I don't have to take the garbage out.
But she's saying this. He's saying this to a man who's paying the bills.
Absolutely.
I thought if you pay the cost, you get to be the boss. So he could have just said to the man, because I respect your authority. We men talking. If I'm a man talking, not arguing from a child's position, I wouldn't say if mama said it, and that's the case. I would say, well, look, man to man, you pay the bills. I appreciate you taking care of the things you do for mama and all that and whatnot. But if you wanted me to be able to take out the trash, all you had to do was say it. At least y'all can establish it from here. The man would have been saying, ain't nobody got to tell you that. Okay, you feel your way, I feel mine. What I'll do is I'll start taking out the trash. I'll work my way into getting out. Didn't know it was like that. And the mother should say, son, I'm proud of you. Not don't do that, because she knows it is. She should encourage the son to get out, not in a negative way like what is happening, but she should be behind that. You see, she shouldn't be arguing for the opposite of him getting out. It sounds like she's trying to keep him there. You see what I'm saying?
And then she also told the man who's paying her bills he can go ahead and leave.
Now who's gonna pay the bills?
To keep her son there, which shows that she's just as codependent on him as she's making him towards her.
She's codependent on her being a mother. See, that's my only son. Ain't no way I'm putting my son out. So you can tell she definitely takes pride, and you should. You should take pride in being a mother. You know what I mean? So I get that, but at the same time, like you said, it's not wise, because she's telling the person who's paying the bills that he can just go.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, right? But look, teaching their sons to disrespect male authority and male authority figures. Another one was teaching their sons to disrespect their father's authority, which I'm not going to say she's doing that here, but she is allowing him to disrespect another man's authority, because he is the authority figure in the home. He is paying the bills. And I can tell you this, as a father, especially a stepfather, you definitely not about to be trying to argue with her son, okay? And you know you paying all the bills and doing the right thing. You want her to act right. Absolutely. Last thing you want is them to be smarting off to you, telling you what they gonna do and ain't gonna do. You see what I'm saying? So that will make a man say, well, I'm just gonna stop paying these bills and move. I mean, he probably brought it up in a way that he shouldn't have brought it up. Don't get me wrong. He did call her weak and say some things that if that was my mama he was talking to, he would have got a different version of me. I'd have turned he'd have saw my mama's protector right there on the spot, the way he was talking to my mama. At this point, I don't care. You know how you be like, I don't care if mama wrong. You're going to watch how you talking to my mama. Because he told her she was weak. And as a son, I'd turn around and say, what you say, bro? But you know what? But again, that wouldn't have been good. But as a son, I'm toxic. I want to protect my mama now.
Which says a lot, because her son is at this point 29 years old, and that's how uncomfortable he is with his own masculinity, that he wouldn't even initiate that conversation to say, you're being disrespectful towards my mother. He's following his mother's lead, and he doesn't have his own course of action for himself.
So what we're going to do, family, it'll just be these two videos. I don't want this video to go over long, so I'm going to let this one play again. And I want to show you where these red flags are, but I want you guys to focus on these red flags and try to discontinue them. I know a lot of you guys are going to want to, lash out and say how this video made you feel, and I get it. It hurts to hear the truth,
right?
But change so we can raise our sons to be healthier, okay? Absolutely. But let's watch this video again. I'm going to point out some of these red flags to you as they happen.
I'm telling him, he's coming in right now.
I let him know what's
and then
up.
Because he ain't going nowhere. That's my son. That's my.
Already, she says, I'm going to see if you going to tell him. He coming in right now. So this is the mother's fault for bringing the son into this adult conversation. We are the bill payers, okay? I'm paying the bills. You are my wife. I'm talking to you about your son. I think it's time for him to move out. He is 29, so this is a logical conversation to have. Her ego's tied up into it because it's her son that he's talking about, and she doesn't want to tell her son to move out. She probably thinks that's going to hurt his feelings, but he's 29, okay? But again, this is a conversation that two adults would have. This is a normal conversation. Kids are getting pretty old. It's time to move out. He is 29. It's not like he's 18, family. All right, so, and then she says, well, I'm going to tell him about this conversation. This could mess up the relationship between that man and her son. It sounds like he's been in his life a while. He said he met them when he was 22. So he was 22 still living with his mama. Okay. That's not 29, but he said he was 22. So he has to have been around a little while. But saying, hey, he wants you to move out could definitely distort the relationship between those two men, right? But let's go.
Only son.
At some point, he got to go.
Never no time.
I mean, at some point, he
never no time.
Man.
Never no time.
Well,
see, she even disagrees with at some point he's got to go. Never no time. Yo, at some point though, He does have to go, right?
Absolutely.
Is he going to have his own family one day? Like, what you mean never no time?
Absolutely.
I know you said, I don't care if he get 50. I know that you would, but we're talking about him. We're not talking about what you would do as a mother, what you would allow him to do as a mother. We're talking about him as a man. At some point he does. I mean, come on now, stop.
To establish his own house.
He has to at some point, right?
Absolutely.
That's like saying at some point you're going to come out of them diapers. Never, no, never. If he in them diapers till 50, I'll change his diapers. Of course you would if he was mentally, incapable. You would, but you wouldn't encourage him to keep the diaper on because you love him. You wouldn't. You would say it's time for you to come out of these diapers. Like it's time for you to work on your independence and use the bathroom. Like you're a growing boy. It's time for you to do these things.
Absolutely.
Your love for your child will cause you to spoil him, and it's not good for boys at all. It's not good for girls either, but it's detrimental for boys.
Agreed.
Okay, because you break the home. He can't go off and be productive and lead the family because you broke him. You see what I'm saying?
And he's going to be looking for someone to take care of him as thoroughly as his mother.
Absolutely.
Tell him, Christian.
No, you tell him.
Well-
We talking about you grown and you gotta go somewhere. I told him, you my only son, you ain't going no damn where. You go when you get ready.
Man, I just feel
She said, you tell him, and then she proceeded to tell him. No, you tell him. He talking about you going out to leave when you get... Yo.
at some point you need to make your own way. That's what
That is a fact.
Right.
I just feel at some point, you need to make your own way. As a man, you need to make your own way. Like, that's facts, yo. That's a fact.
I be want to walk through the house naked sometime, and there you go.
Irrelevant. Now, it's a fact that sometimes, it's a fact that eventually he got to make his own way. You got to make your own way. But as kings, I'm going to tell you this now. If you're going to step in there and raise a child up that's not your own and really be a functional parent in that home and be a functional father, I get you want to walk around the house naked. But if we keep letting these ideas push our children out the house, we're going to keep pushing our children out the home before they're ready to take care of themselves. Listen, it's hard out here, and you know that's true for a black man. Okay, so your child gonna get a job and have a job for a couple 6 months to a year, and now you already putting them out to have them pay their own bills and try to get ahead in life, and you know it's hard, man. It's difficult. So what we should be doing is try to encourage our children to be entrepreneurs while they're in the home. Save your money. Don't give it to me. Don't spend it. Save your money so you can buy something when you move out, so you don't have to struggle with how you're going to meet your ends every month. You see what I'm saying? So it's not so I can walk around the house and be naked. Like, I don't want you to move out for what I want to do at the house myself. I want you to be a man. I want you to have a family and lead your legacy.
Absolutely.
This is not personal to me because you're going to sound like a real butthole if you talk like that. I want to walk around butt naked and you in here. So you're just going to kick him out now, and now he has to just carry it all on his own? Like, we as parents have been doing that for far too long. Just because you're 18. You're not about to eat up my food in my refrigerator. You're grown now. Well, did you raise them to take care of themselves? If you did not prepare them for that, you cannot use all of these reasons to put him out. Now, as a stepfather, if you have been in his life, what you should have done as a stepfather is take that young man under your wings and you teach him to be masculine. You start giving him little tidbits of advice when that mother's not around you on how to be a man. You start asking him, what type of house do you want to have? You want a big house, a little house? You want a trailer? Start intriguing him about moving out. Get him excited about it. You see what I'm saying? And so this is how you build a man. But you don't go to his mama. He's 29. You going to his mama to have a conversation about what he talk to him man to man now. He's a man now. You want him to respect you like a man, go talk to him, not his mama. Because you're still treating him like a boy. Both of y'all treating him like a boy.
Absolutely.
Because you're discussing this with his mama. I would have been talking about that young man would have went to his mother said, I'm ready to move out. And it would have been all because I encouraged him, motivated him, and gave him all the information that it takes to be able to have your own house. And I would have also encouraged him to save his mother freaking money, because I don't want him to move out and have to move back in, because that hurts his confidence and his ability to take care of himself, because now he doubts himself. It sucks because you can have a job today and that job can lay you off. So just saying, it's time for you to move out now. Okay, he moves out, he gets a year lease somewhere, and now he loses his job. Now what's going to happen? You see, now you've put your child in these positions to think about things that they may not have to think about yet. They could be focused on their creativity, their manifestations, which could turn them into millionaires. But now you got them working a job just so they can get out. Now they never have time to be creative and manifest on their own. So that's still really kind of stripping their childhood from them, the ability to create themselves when you throw them into the world to have to perform. You see what I'm saying? Like, or get kicked out just because they older. You know what I mean? So the conversation's happening backwards.
Well, question, a little bit of feedback for the men that are playing somewhat of the stepfather. Like, you hear this woman's energy. She's nobody that would allow a man that she welcomed into her life that is not her son's biological father and allow him to have authority over her son. You can tell just by the nature of the conversation, she's blocking him at every turn. He doesn't seem that, even though he has paid bills, he has any type of anything in the race as it relates to her son. So would you suggest that a man not be invested in this type of situation, or is it 100% her that if you're going to welcome a man into your life, that you have to allow him to play that role so you could prevent being in a situation such as this?
Well, I would say for the man, that is a scary situation. You're paying all the bills. You're performing in the relationship. You're being a husband figure to the mother, but she won't allow you to be a father figure to the son. As a stepfather, that would be plenty of red flags for me, because at number one, we don't want to raise another man's seed. That's his seed. We don't want to do that. We prefer that we raise all of our children through her loins, not someone who was there before us. It's often said that if it's your second child, but it's your first child, but her second. Because she already had a child. Now you have to you got to kind of mold that child too, and be a husband to her. And if she don't allow you to mold that child, I would say that's a red flag. I would say as a man, she's going to require you to leave some of your legacy to this child, love that child as if it's yours, but she's going to tell you that you also can't guide the child. I would probably step away from the entire situation, honestly. But now for single mothers, I would say this: if you're going to have a man come into your life, you got to allow him to play that role now. Even if he does have a father that comes in, that's in his life, you still want a man that's going to be a good model for your son. You see what I'm saying? And that man should have a relationship with your son, and so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, the father should have a personal relationship with her son. They should go out, play ball, do things together, like catch, talk, go hunting, go do some work together, just anything where y'all can have these type of conversations and build and get to know this young boy. You see, now don't get me wrong, like you said, the mother could very well be in the way, and if you are in a situation like that where the mother's in the way, me personally, I would still try and take the time to work with the son in my own. I wouldn't try to cross her boundaries, but I would try to do it by way of respect. And hopefully, if you can build up a relationship with the son, he's coming to you for that advice. He's looking up to you for that advice. If you can do that, and a lot of times you can do that. But again, with a mother like that, it's probably not likely. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if most of their relationship he had never even delegated to her son at all, and leaves the parenting 100% up to her.
If he did that, then that's a failure on his part. You can't come into a person's life and expect her to still mother all of her children, and you're not going to participate at all. You're with a person who has children, You gotta, and that's why, and men, most part, know that, and that's why they don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because a mother will be like, "I want you to love my kid like you love your own." Like, we know that that's dang near impossible. Like, it doesn't mean you don't love her child, but that's not your child. Of course, you're going to be more invested into your child. She probably would too. Like if a father asked a woman to say, "I want you to love my children just as much as you love yours." Like, for a mother, we say a mother loves her children more than anyone else in the world, right? So how can a mother love his children just as much as she loved the children that came through her? Now, of course you can treat them the same, but love, like, come on, y'all. You're asking a lot from a person. You see, it's really the role that you play. Now, you shouldn't ask them to have some feeling in the heart as much as they would for their children. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
No, if anything, you can go, not him. How about that?
I want to pay all the fucking bills in here. How the f*** you gonna tell me where I can go?
But the thing is, like, why do I got to, this is my mama house, like, why do I got to leave my mama house?
Period.
Man, you damn near 40 years old. Damn near it's time to go. I mean, at what point?
Why do I got to get out my mama house? Why? See, the way he's talking, that does not sound like a dependent man.
At all.
Just because it's your mother's house, you think that's a reason to live there? You're a man. Your mother should have a house, and now you should have a house too.
Absolutely.
Have a place she can come to and visit you.
Absolutely.
What do you mean? Why can't I just stay here if it's my mama's house? Well, the reason is because you're an adult, and adults grow up and move out. This would be true even if you were a woman. You're supposed to grow up and want to move out and start your own family, become your own man or woman. That's why it's a problem You asking like that's unnatural to want to live in your mama. You acting like it's not unnatural to just want to live up in your mama house. Like,
I'm sorry, at 29, that's
you can't bring women through there like you like to. You can't do what you want to. Your mama there. Don't you want to walk around naked too? Your mama there though. I mean, come on now. You want to do your own thing. All right. But I guess she makes it really easy for him. He's not there all the time, like they said. So I guess he can come and go as he pleases. So it's not really like a problem for him. But still, you still want to have your own. And young men dream about this, having their own.
I'm 29. I'm not.
Well,
40.
Boy, that's pretty 10
But
years
you know
away,
what? When I
man.
met you was living with your mama.
Man, please.
You
I
was
was
living
in
with
and
your-
out. Come
you
on,
was
man.
living with your mama.
I
Now you
was
gonna
only
tell
22
me.
years old.
Now you gonna tell me
Get out
because
of here.
he
No, I ain't
29.
gonna lie, but I ain't getting up. I'm not getting up.
See how she came for him? This right here, what that does is tells the son it's okay to be in this current condition of being 29 living with mama. That's not normal.
At all.
But she said, when I met you, you was living with your mama. Yo, I was 22. That's way different. He was 22 and I was in and out. You're still 22, and we look at that like that's even too old for a man to live at home. But that's not too old for a man to live at home. To me, of course, you can go to college during that time, and of course, like if he's 18, that's when he can get a good job. 21 is not even considered to be an adult. You mean to tell me 3 years later or 1 year later, it's a problem for him to still live with his mama? But that's how we do, young men. That's why it's so hard for us. You know what I mean? But that's why I'm not totally against him still living there. Oh, you know what I mean? But the way she's arguing it is, you ain't nothing either. You was living with your mama. So how can you have a problem with this?
Right.
Even if he was living with his own mama at 29, he could still not want that for her son. And so it doesn't mean that, like, you can't argue like that. That's weird. That's like saying, well, you got pregnant at 18. How you gonna tell, like, yeah, I got pregnant. I don't want them to.
And learn from it.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't getting up. I'm not getting up. I'm
Man,
not
he
going
has
nowhere.
to go.
I'm not going nowhere.
He
This is
has
my
to go.
mama house.
Well,
And you ain't gotta go
You know
nowhere.
what, damn it, I ain't gonna pay no bills either then, damn it. Now, how you feel about that? You don't want him to go, I won't pay the bills.
No,
But
you gonna continue to pay
he
the
got to
bills.
go, though, man. It's too
They
much.
need-
See,
You can't stop being masculine. You just gotta leave the situation. If you can't, don't stop performing. You gonna stop paying the bills? Like, just leave, sir. Just leave, sir. Well, I ain't paying the bills either. Then we just gonna all be lazy, right? That's funny, man. But that's when he's a man say that when he's frustrated. I'm gonna stop paying these bills. You're not gonna stop paying those bills. You gotta pay the bills.
arguing and stuff about stuff.
Because,
you know
but at
what
the
I'm
end of the
saying?
day, all y'all do is tell me to help. Y'all ain't saying nothing. It's like,
Man, you a
so
grown
y'all
ass
saying
man. You supposed to know the garbage over.
When
you
your
have
arms
to
spread
do.
this far out, you know you wrong. When you spread as far out as Jesus did when he supposedly died, you like, all you had to do was just tell me. Somebody just all they had to do was, why your arms open so wide?
Right.
His hands is as far as the east is from the west.
Right.
All you had to do was tell me. Man, you knew you wasn't doing nothing.
Right. And you 29. You
Look.
know good and well.
We told you now. Just say from here on out, I'm gonna help around here till I get up out of here.
Absolutely.
That way the conversation over, right?
Absolutely.
Because me personally, if I was him, I ain't trying to hit. I'm trying to settle this as soon as possible. Look, whatever you need going forward, I'll do that if I'm gonna be in and out. That's cool. And I will be looking for another place. I ain't trying to have this conversation.
Right.
Phil, you supposed to know to take that outside. Come on, man. I don't have to tell you all this stuff, man.
But the thing is, I'm barely here, so I'm barely making garbage. So if I got to the garbage shop,
But it also proves he hasn't told him. I know sometimes as men, as adults, we feel like, well, nobody should have to tell you. I feel like that too. But sometimes you do. And don't live in what you should or shouldn't have to do to get somebody to be aware of something. You're raising them, right? If you're raising them, if she's raising him, if you live with him, then you could just say, hey, man, look, when you come and go and stuff or whatever, just, hey, take some trash out sometimes, clean up. Well, I don't make the mess. I'm only using like one dish. Yeah, but you're living here free of rent, and everybody going to be contributing to the household. So when you
Absolutely.
come home, if it's some dishes in the sink, man, knock the dishes out for your mama. Look out for her, right?
Absolutely.
She still let you stay here. She don't even trip on you. Like, you can do that for her. Now, I'm sure he's probably not washing the dishes, you know, but the father, I'm saying, the man who's paying the bills, of course, I'm sure he ain't washing the dishes, but the mother probably does. But he definitely could have said, I need this from you. So the son isn't totally exempt by making that claim that somebody could have told me, but he's kind of right. The father could have told him if that's what you wanted from him. If that's how the son is always grown up and didn't have to do these things, if she didn't get a boy chores and stuff, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But he should have, if you're going to talk to the mother about it and that be one of your main reasons that he do nothing, you could have said something to the man about it. You know, I would respect the man more if you talk to me about it, but instead you're going to go talk to my mama about what I'm doing. Like, I wouldn't like that personally. You know, we both grown, bro. Why are you talking to my mama about it?
I'm barely here. If I'm barely here, barely making garbage, barely making dishes, like why I gotta do anything?
Well, she gonna always make excuses for you, man. But
Right, he don't even be here. So what is you talking about? He don't be here like that. He come here,
Well,
he
when
sleep,
he's
and
here,
then he on
he needs to
business the
help
rest
out.
of the day.
See, she sees no reason for the son to be disciplined. She sees no reason for the son to contribute just because he should contribute. Just for being a man. It don't have to be a reason.
Absolutely.
It don't have to be, well, you're using up food, you're using all this, you're using all of that. No, you're here, so you contribute. If you're in a home, you contribute to making that home work. It's simple, man.
And he might not have been told previously, but he's being told now. And
he
his
arguing with
response
that.
is, I'm barely here, so I barely contribute to the trash, so why should I have to take out the trash? That sounds like someone that does not want to contribute. They just want to get out of the conversation.
He's saying you should have told me, but if you would have told him, that's what he would have said. See what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
when he's here, he needs to help out. He needs to do some things. He
Well,
needs
I
to be
tell you what,
productive.
he ain't paying no bills
damn it,
and
he
he
gonna
ain't
start
gotta go.
paying some bills around
But
this
I ain't
guy.
paying.
But
I gotta pay.
I'd rather for him to
My
get the
mama,
fuck out.
But listen, my mama said I gotta pay no bills. I ain't paying no bills.
He gotta pay.
I ain't gotta-
see right there. Now he made a suggestion. He can start paying some bills, right? Let's say he comes there and stays for a night. Maybe he leaves $25, $30 or something like that, because a hotel gonna cost way more than that. At least he's contributing something. But he don't even want to hear it. I ain't doing none of that. If mama say I ain't got to, I ain't got to. But you're talking to the man who is paying all the bills.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? If mama say I ain't got to, I ain't got to. If mama say I don't have to grow up, if mama say I don't have to be a man, then I'm gonna be a child forever. If mama say I can live until I'm 50,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna stay here till I'm 50. Irrelevant if your mama say you can stay here till you 50. You still should be out as soon as you possibly can because you want your freedom. That's how it should work. It shouldn't be like if my mama said, you sound like Bobby Boucher.
That's
I want him to do is save his money and do what he needs to do with his money
You the whole reason why
and
he
not
is
pay
the way
no
he is,
bill.
because all it,
Now, wait. I need him to save his money and do what he need to do with his money and not pay no bills. Now, if that's the case, that's what I be saying for my son. Save your money. But now, if he buying all types of clothes and stuff, and you can see he's not saving his money, I would definitely say something about that.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, listen, it's time for you to learn how to budget your money. You see what I'm saying? I get you buying a couple things that you like, and I ain't against that. But it's time for you to set a budget. How much per week are you putting aside, per check are you putting aside for your living expenses when you move out or to pay your home off, and stick within that budget. Because I'm
Absolutely.
definitely ain't trying to see you go to work and just spend all your money and just come home because you got one. I want to see you do what men do. We have to budget. Listen, there's bills to pay, so you can't raise your child to live like there are no bills to pay. Because when they move out, they'll still be a victim of instant gratification and just buy things that make them feel good. And when bill time come, they gonna come to you borrowing it, or they gonna get kicked out, or go to their friends borrowing it, or they gonna have horrible credit, and their life just gonna be rough because they're just gonna keep on cycling the crap that you taught them. You understand? Be responsible.
Absolutely.
You can buy some things that you like, but if you're not being responsible, it's gonna come back to bite you badly. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
Whole life gonna reflect that.
soft shit you bring it to him. He still got the titty in the mouth. You let
Oh,
all that
hell
stuff
no.
go on.
No,
That-
you know what?
See, very inappropriate. He shouldn't have said that. You understand? So that's going too far, but he's frustrated at this point. But man, you got to be able to negotiate a conversation without reverting to things that's going to definitely insult a person. Don't tell her she still got her breast in the man's mouth. Like, come on, there was another way you could have said that. But again, there was no time to, he didn't take any time to regulate what he was going to say, showing that he respected her. So now she's allowed another man into her life who literally disrespects her in front of her son. You see what I'm saying? So that ain't good, because the son is really allowing it to happen. And I guess I shouldn't say allow it. He is the son, but it's probably common that they talk like this to each other, because the son don't seem to be like triggered by it. Because if I heard somebody say it to my mama, I would have been ego about me too, because ain't no titty in my mouth. My mama's titty ain't in my mouth.
Right.
So I'd be like, what you say? I'm 29. You just told my mama her titty. That's an insult to me too.
Absolutely.
But he's just gonna let him talk.
You know what I know? You jealous. You jealous of my son.
Like you would say
You
that.
jealous of my son.
Only you would say some bull crap.
Telling him that he's jealous of the son only tells the son that the man has absolutely no point in what he's saying. And now the son has every right to continue being the way he's being. Actually, you've empowered him
Absolutely.
by telling him the father's only saying this because he hating on you. Somewhere the son could have thought that, man, maybe this man hating on me. He got a problem with me. Now you just answered all of these preconceived notions that the son just had. You should never do that. If someone gives you the argument and gives you what they think, never misinterpret their argument and then re-say their argument in different words for them. That's called gaslighting. I know what it is. No, what he just said was, I want your son to move out because he's 29. He don't never help out or do anything, and I want to walk around naked.
Absolutely.
Did he say I'm jealous of your son? So why would you do that? Now this man has to deny some claim, some assertion you made over him. That's weird, man. Now that ain't something you didn't have to argue about that. Now you're arguing about something that ain't even there. Just some hypothetical bullcrap. He's jealous of the son now. Jealous. The son is 29 and still living there. He has a point. Yo, now if the son was 15, then he might be jealous, but this man is 29 years old.
Right.
Like, come on now.
I don't know if you jealous or not, but I just know I ain't getting on my mama's house. Like, if I gotta get on my mama's house, you gotta put me on my mama's house at the end of the day.
Well, damn it, I'm gonna be carrying you out. You got to go.
Oh, you don't mean you want to carry
Ain't
them
got
both out then if that's
no
the case.
problem with carrying them out. I just shoot them on out. And you,
Michael, now you know good and damn well I'm not kicking my son out.
I ain't going
what point
I
do you expect?
at the end of the day, I ain't worried about it. Like, if at the end of the day, I'm here. I live here, so till I'm ready to get out, I'm gonna be here. So it don't
At
matter.
what point is you trying to? What's your plans for this man?
That's a good question. What's your plans for this man? But why does it matter what her plans for that man is? See, it already shows you that man ain't got no plan of his own because he's asking his mother right in front of him what's her plans for him. Now, I'm going to tell you here. I think the mother's being very toxic in how she's responding to him in this conversation. I think she's very toxic in how she raises her son in terms of him being a great man and leader when he moves out. But I will say I commend her for loving her son because a lot of women will put their sons out just because some man asks.
Absolutely.
Stick by your child with everything in you, family. But she should know at this point she got some corrections to meet. She has already failed her son. Putting him out now would only fail him more. So she needs to try and repatch or restore some of the things that she already messed up in his life by helping him build some discipline. She should go back to her son after seeing our video. She should go back to her son and say, son, I haven't been raising you the right way. It is important that you become a man for you. Even if I allow you to live here forever, I will always have your back. You always got a place to go. But I know it's important for you to be the best man that you can be so you can carry on your legacy and so you can be a great father. That's very important. So I want to move out of the way and I want to encourage you to accomplish your independence, okay? I want you to capture that, okay? To conquer that. I want to see you get your own home. I want to root for you. I want to be excited for you. I want to come visit you at your home.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to get you some housewarming gifts. I want to support you in your endeavors to be a man. I really do. That should be the conversation going forward, okay? Because you can't continue on this path. I'm not mad at her. I'm not saying that she did anything wrong in terms of her not putting him out, but in how she raised him led up to this conversation, y'all. So believe me, I'm not saying, yes, you need to kick that man out. I'm not like that. I don't see that for men or women. You know what I mean? So, but men do need to have their independence. The way I do it is I tell my daughter, you need to be able to take care of yourself before you try and move out. So I'm going to try to encourage all attributes that lead to her being able to take care of herself. I tell my sons, you got to be able to take care of yourself and someone else before you move out. The reason is I'm old school. I want my sons to be able to take care of him and his wife's or girlfriend's necessities while they build up to forming their marriage. So I want him to be able to take care of him and her, okay? In case, just because, you know, as a man, you want to be able to provide. So just having enough for you doesn't mean you should go out and start dating. She's going to want things. She's going to need things. And you have to be ready for that. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage my sons to be able to take care of you and somebody else. But my daughter, be able to take care of you. You understand? But if you can't take care of yourself, I don't want you out there on the streets, though. I don't want you to move out so I can walk around naked or have my home to myself. I love my children, yo. They everything to me. So I'm not in my mind thinking about how soon they moving out and how happy I'm gonna be when they gone. I'm still gonna be every bit their father when they move out. I'm not looking for like breathing room. Okay. When they move out, I'm still gonna be there anytime they need me. As far as advice and things like that goes. You know what I mean? But don't coddle your children, family. As you can see, it only cripples them. And where normally a child who has a mother who is given direction and discipline, they'll yearn to get out. They got a curfew. They got to clean up their room. They got to do chores. They will be thinking, I can't wait till I get my own place. And you want that. That's called stirring up the nest. Do not allow them to be so comfortable that you cripple them, yo. That's crazy. The first conversation, and this video has a little bit more, but I don't think we need to play. We already kind of let into this video. But you know, he does tell her that she's weak. And she's doing that to her son. That's not wise either. But As you can see, guys, the first video was definitely more toxic than the first. It was more toxic than the second, by way of just how she was carrying herself, her own behavior. But as you can see, you can have a crippled son, whether or not you're doing the outlandish toxic things, or you're just not catering to his masculinity. You understand that both of those look like a failed man, because that man may not be able to go out and lead a healthy family because of how you raised him. You understand? So back up, allow your children to be men, and all that good stuff. Okay. And of course, we're going to talk about some of the toxic relationships towards mothers and single mothers, but not in this video. But we have seen them forge best friend relationships with their daughters, look to live off of their daughters when their daughters go into nursing or being a lawyer, whatever case they may be. They want to move in with their daughters and have this best friend roommate-ish type of relationship. And I want to tell you guys, fathers typically don't do that. Okay, fathers don't look to live off the backs of their children. If you're doing that as a mother, please know that you are by default creating a codependent relationship on your children. Your children should need you. You shouldn't be thinking about how you're going to need your children. Okay,
Absolutely.
So that is a codependent relationship that will ultimately cripple your child. Don't ask them what they're going to buy for you when they get their NFL contract. You stay out of that.
Absolutely.
You leave that alone, man. That's crazy, yo. Don't do that, yo. That's bad. All right.
Enabling is not love by any means. It may make you feel like you're expressing love and being loving towards your child, but the ultimate long-term effects will stunt their growth. It will strip them of confidence and create an adult that is always looking to you for validation instead of finding that from within and allowing it to propel them forward. If you are creating fears within your children and you don't want to date and it's dangerous out there and you're trying to create a confining mentality to where they always want to be home because to them the world is scary, you have to allow them to have these experiences so they can build up their confidence in themselves and go out here and face things that will push them outside their comfort zone. I understand that the world in itself is chaotic and you want to protect them from everything, but in reality it's kind of a good thing that you cannot protect them from everything. Otherwise, they would not learn and they would not develop. You have to allow room for that. When they are confident in taking a step, you might have to step back and allow them to take those steps to see how it plays out. But be prepared as a parent to catch them when they fall. Make sure you have your Band-Aids and be ready to pour into them as far as confidence goes. But trying to keep them from moving forward only creates their dependence on you. And the reality is, as a parent, you're supposed to prepare them to fly the nest. You will not live forever. Eventually, you won't be there for guidance. Exactly. You won't be there for guidance. You won't be there to loan them money. You won't be there to make sure they do everything they need to do. During the time that you have them is for you to make sure they have all the tools that they need to move forward. And if they aren't able to dig into their pocket for the tools you gave, they at least have the resources in their mind to know how to discover an answer to a question that they don't have. That is still a tool in themselves. So you have to be confident in that. And eventually you have to release and let go.
That's right.
Let them go. At some point as a parent, you have to display your confidence in your ability to raise your child and say, I know I gave them everything. They are resourceful. They're resilient. They're smart. They know how to look up information. They know how to ask questions. I gave them enough to be able to navigate any situation. So the rest is there for me to catch them and be here for advice. When they need it, they will come to me.
That's a fact.
And be happy in that. But you can't raise your child and never be prepared to let them go. Absolutely. It doesn't do anything for them or you. You earn to relax after a certain amount of time. Once you pour it into your child, it's just watching them live. And you get to relax and wait for them to come to you. You should look forward to that day, not grab them so tight. Open your hands.
Right. Give them your best self, the best information that you have to offer. Try the information that you have to offer. knowing that you are not promised tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Okay, but don't try and live into how they live their lives and all this type of stuff, family. All right? Be encouraged. If you are a son who was raised by a single mother and you recognize that you have some of these qualities, please challenge yourself to claim your crown to become a man again, to truly become a man, okay? Be more disciplined and consistent, okay? Manifest from within, family. If you're not good at it, don't quit early, disqualifying yourself, keep going, because that's how you get good at things, okay, family? Pick yourself up and dust yourself off, because it's not too late for you to be the man that you're supposed to be, all right? Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting the other. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos,
it is in that chaos that you have found yourself.
And oh yeah, you will never have the courage to cross the ocean until you have the courage. You will never cross the ocean until you have the courage to leave the shore. That's what I meant. All right, family. I love y'all. Peace.
Peace. Bye.